Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this segment specially filmed for World Wellness Week. I want to welcome you to this video. I want to thank you for tuning in. How many of you would like to control your emotions versus allowing your emotions to control you? And how would you like to become more resilient in these times? Well, first of all, I want to welcome you. I want to thank you for joining this video. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Munir, and I run a little web show that called Unconscious Communication Secrets. And today we're specifically talking about how you can overcome stress and anxiety so that you convert those into productivity and gratitude using some amazing mind hacks. How many of you are ready for some mind hacks? I love mind hacks. Mind hacks are so cool. So let me just get started. So essentially what we're going to be talking about today is ultimately why so many of us are so stressed right now, why it is that one of the most why it's not the most useful of skills or emotions to be feeling right now, and what you can be doing instead so that you can convert it into something a little bit more productive. If you're tuning in, please drop a note, say hi, we are live. I'd love to hear from you, and if you have any questions, feel free to ask as we go along. And also, when you stay till the end, I'll also share with you how you can come and check out our free webinar. I'm having a free webinar on how you can help people to make changes in long-lasting changes in just 7 steps. So if that's something that you're interested in, stay till the end and I'll share with you a link that you can do that. So let's get started. We are living in unprecedented times. I like to give an analogy. It's sort of like, you turn a corner. We've been on a road, you turn a corner, and all of a sudden, you are in this crazy traffic jam. It was unexpected. And this traffic jam is taking way longer than we thought. We've been sitting still. We haven't been moving. It's becoming stressful. There's loads of noise, things happening around us. And sometimes we can even feel a little helpless. And so all of this has been creating a lot of stress, anxiety, and fear for many of us, because we also don't know when it's going to end. Now, the first thing I want to also start off by saying is I can appreciate where so many people are coming from. Like just a few months ago, I was at home and I got a meeting request to go and meet with my boss, just as I have every single week. same old thing. Just go meet with my boss. And at the last minute, someone, like a couple of people from HR, were invited to that meeting. And so I thought, oh my God, this is a bit strange. And I walked in and the conversation, my boss started with, "Hi, Munir. Look, Munir, there's really no way of making this any easy, or really no easy way to say this news. But look, the company's going through a tough time. This is no indication on your performance whatsoever, but the company's losing a hell of a lot of money. And I'm really sorry, but we're going to have to let you go. The company is downsizing a lot of people right now. And unfortunately, we're just going to have to let you go." So I went home and we would just start, like, this is just lockdown had started. We couldn't leave the house. My wife wasn't working. Had to figure out how to educate my daughter in, like, do homeschooling, all in real time, and couldn't even go home to visit my family, etc. I had my neighbors and good friends of ours also lose their jobs and be sent home. I had travel plans that were cut off, and so I know what that stress is like. I know what some of that anxiety is like. And I initially started to get stressed and anxious. Now, luckily, great coaches also have coaches. And I spoke to my coach, and my coach interrupted my pattern and he said to me, well, first of all, Munir, congratulations. Finally, you can start to pursue your dreams. And I was like, okay, he threw me off a little bit. And then he said, look, you've gone and studied from all these people about how to overcome stress and anxiety, etc. And right now, you have a family to feed. You have a family to look after. You cannot afford to be stressed. So figure it out. And they were right. I mean, I was like, okay, oh wow, okay, didn't really think of that. Yeah, you're right. I don't have time to spend being stressed. So I went and revisited all my models, and I was like, okay, how do I apply let me start applying these in my own life. And I started applying this in my own life. So what I'm going to be sharing with you today is not just stuff that I have learned. I have learned, but I have actually been doing and putting to the test myself in these hard times. So before I go any further, MJ, what's up, my man? How you doing, brother? Great to see you. I really appreciate you coming in. Yeah, and MJ saying really need to be learned in this hard time. Yeah, completely. This is perhaps one of my most requested talks at the moment because it's so essential right now. This is such a needed skill right now, and it's needed because like stress and anxiety are all around us. 2020 has been one of the most challenging years for a lot of people. Now, I say challenging. It doesn't need to be stressful, because but also I see a lot of scared people. Here's the challenge with both of those. Having stress and anxiety makes the challenge even greater, because when you're stressed and anxious, it affects your brain, it affects your cardiovascular system, it affects your joints and your muscles, it affects your immune system, it affects your skin, it affects your gut, your reproductive system, all sorts of things. And this is what's ironic. So many people are becoming sick because they are so scared of becoming sick. And that's not useful. We don't need that. So I want to give you a better way of how to handle these. And also, I don't want, like how do we address this in a more effective way, in a more efficient way, so that we can convert it, so that we can get more things done, so that we can tackle the problems instead of wallowing in the problems. So, and I, first of all, how do I know what I know? Look, I am not like crazy smart or anything like that. I have just gone and learned from a whole bunch of people around the world who are way smarter than me, and they have come up with a number of strategies. And all I've done is I've gone and tested so many different strategies from all around the world, from all these different people, and I'm going to share with you what works for me, what makes sense for me. And what I'd love for you to do is, by the end of this session, if some of these make sense to you, I want you to test them out. See what they do for you. See how they can affect your life. And who knows? If it doesn't make sense, don't do it. However, I think that when you understand some of the concept behind what I'm going to share with you, and then you start to test it out for yourself, if only one or two of the techniques that I share with you work, guess what? You would have come a long way from where you were. So hopefully that makes sense. And so, like I said to you today, I'm going to be sharing with you a number of tools that will assist you in this journey. So first of all, let me just start off by saying you have a powerful machine that is between your ears. Now, imagine you had the most powerful machine in the world, okay? They're like a supercomputer, right? Which you do. However, if you had the most powerful machine, but you were running old software on it, like Microsoft Windows 95. Does anyone remember Microsoft Windows 95? So now, here's the crazy thing, right? For many of us, we haven't upgraded our software from when we were born, from when we were young, over the last decade, over the last 2 decades, we haven't upgraded our software. We still have the best machine, but we may still be running that old software. And all you need to do, and here's the thing, old software can't handle our current day tasks. It can't handle the big challenges that we're faced with today. So, and old software is also more prone to a virus. So unless you're upgrading that software, unless you're finding new challenges, you are a little bit more prone. And all we're going to be showing you is how to upgrade that software, how to get more. And here's the thing, if you think of a computer, right? Like if you think of a computer, what makes up the programs, right? Like what makes up how the software runs? It's the inputs. Whatever you input into the machine determines how the software runs, right? So let me ask you this. What are you inputting into your machine? Right? What are you inputting into your machine? Are you on like hundreds of WhatsApp groups that like are sharing like the doom and gloom of the world? What is going to be going on? And what is it like? And then and then some of my aunts, at least my aunts, are like, listen, a great news, like khalas, all you have to do, you have to get some garlic and you just mix it with basil and put yasmin flowers and khalas, coronavirus gone. Like old Chinese doctor proverbs, etc. Like we're getting so bombarded by so many different bits of random news, fake news, and depressing news, etc. And so what is the intake into your mind? And so this is the first thing that we want to talk about is, can you adjust your intake? All right. Gina, hey, how you doing? Great to see you. Yes, me and the family are very well. I truly appreciate you. Thank you for tuning in. I hope you enjoy the session today. So talking about how to convert stress and anxiety into productivity and gratitude. So you have one of the world's most powerful machines. If we want to change the input of that machine, then you have to, the first thing I would suggest is ask powerful questions. Why do I start here with powerful questions? Well, when you have a powerful question, when you ask the right powerful question, then what happens is your mind will think about it for a long time afterwards. It will process that information for a long time afterwards. So here's what I mean. Right now, many people, before you go to bed, what do? You look, like we look at the news, we look at the WhatsApp messages, we look at all the news of doom and gloom, and we're like, oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no. And then we go to bed, and our unconscious mind, which is our computer, is processing information as we sleep. And it processes information that we've taken in during the day, and more specifically, what we focused on just before we went to bed. So if you're sleeping for 8 hours, you're processing lots of negativity, lots of bad things, lots of doom and gloom. And then you wake up and you're like, oh, I feel so stressed and down and I don't know why. Well, we've been processing bad stuff for about 8 hours. Let me ask you this. Has anyone ever asked you a question and you're like, I don't know the answer. And then 5 hours later, you're like in the shower, you're like, do, 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 do. And then all of a sudden, bing, answer comes to you. What happened? In the background, your brain was processing. In the background, your brain processes. Our unconscious mind processes information in the background. We need to appreciate this. And when you understand this concept, then look, I get it. You are going to be bombarded by negative images, like negative news and stuff like that. It's going to happen. However, we have a choice of what we listen, like what we look at, what we listen to just before we go to bed, because that's the ultimate processing time. So I recommend this. The first thing that you want to do is ask 3 key questions before you go to bed. Number 1, what did I do well today? Right? What did I do well today? And it doesn't matter how bad the day was. It doesn't matter how much tragedy the day had. It doesn't matter how you made mistakes during the day. What did you do well today? If you had to come up with an answer, what would you say? And it's important to do. What did I learn about myself today? Even if you've made like the biggest mistake in the world, and you kind of so I ask myself this when like I lost my job. I say, what did I do well today? Well, I didn't overreact and like throw a crazy tantrum and etc. What did I learn about myself today? That I'm very resilient. So for example, and you want to come up with a couple of answers to these questions. And this is the beautiful one. What am I grateful for today? Every single night before I go to bed, and by the way, I knew this before, I kind of did it before. Ever since lockdown, I've done it. We've done it every single night, myself and my wife. What am I grateful for today? At least 3 things. I do, like, I personally, most nights I do a lot more. Because when I write 3, like my mind goes, oh, and this one. And I'm not going to ignore that one. I'm going to write it down. Every night, what am I grateful for? And when you go to bed, what happens is your mind goes, at night, instead of comparing all the bad news, it starts comparing, what am I grateful for? Was that the thing that you were most grateful for? Or was it when your kids smiled at you? Or, oh, you forgot that you ate healthy. Maybe you're grateful for that. Or and all through the night, your mind is just in the background comparing all the things that you're grateful for. So when you wake up, I just feel happier. I don't know why, I just feel happier. Because your mind is processing happier things in the background. So that's the first thing that you want to do. Miwa, great to see you. Thanks for tuning in. Miwa from Japan, always a pleasure to see you. And Gina is saying, love the gratitude question. It's so powerful. It's so powerful. And yeah, do it often, but need to get back to consistency. And you know what? I think I know what you mean, Gina, because even before lockdown, before I went through some of the toughest times, some of the biggest challenges in my life, I knew about this. I even probably spoke about it a few times, but I never practiced it every single night. Now it is a must. It is a must for me. And I can tell you, like, despite having the biggest challenges in my life, I've never felt more gratitude in my life, and happier and more driven. You see, I've been able to shift my focus from worrying about what's going to happen to, okay, let's focus on what I need to do. All right. So that was number 1. Number 2 is, here's a crazy one. Don't ignore it, address the issue. So sometimes, like we just sort of say, okay, I'm stressed. Okay, don't think about the stress. And whatever we resist sometimes persists. Okay. Whatever you can resist sometimes persists. So instead of ignoring the issue, like when I first came back, I was like, initially I was like, okay, ignore it. And then I just said, no, forget ignoring it. I'm going to do one thing. My good friend Clay, he did a video. He's also a coach. He did a video on this, and I was like, I'm going to try this out. And so instead of don't suppress, address. So you plan your day, and instead of not freaking out all day, which means that you freak out all day, instead of not stressing all day, I cannot stress, but secretly you're stressing all day. Just like, okay, I'm going to plan my day. If you're going to stress anyway, then at least let's schedule it, okay? So you take out your calendar and you say, okay, I am going to, you know what? Let me just see. I got a free slot at about 11:30. Yeah, I just need 15 minutes. I'm going to stress. And then for those 15 minutes, listen, if you're going to stress, do it well. Be an expert. Go all out. Take the pillows and go and smash them against the wall. Go crazy, scream, etc., whatever. And then what happens is at the end of those 15 minutes, after your scheduled time, that's it. You just stop. You just be like, okay, that was, then you just like tick it off your list. Okay, all right, I needed to stress. Okay, I've done it. And then if little stress kind of creeps in, you just go, no, I'm scheduling it for till tomorrow. Like I'm not, I've done my stress for today. That's it. I've let it out my system. So sometimes we need a little bit of catharsis. We need to sometimes let it out. So address it, but address it well. Like don't kind of come and go, okay, I'm just going to stress for a little bit now. If you want to, if you're going to do this technique, let it all out. And then once you've let it all out, then that's it. And what do I do in those what would I do in those 15 minutes? I don't do this much right now, but when I first lost my job, for example, or when I was extreme stress, I would for 15 minutes boom, 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 beat up a pillow. Listen, don't call pillow security, etc., or scream into it or whatever. But then afterwards, just okay, I have let it go. I forgive the pillow or whatever, but you move on. All right. So this is one technique. It's a random one for some people, but it can work if you do some catharsis. So that was number 2. Number 3, transform the energy. Now, what do I mean by this? Is, for a lot of people, they are like, oh my God, I'm so worried about my health. I'm so worried about my health, etc. Look, if you are worried, then what you want, you want to use that energy. Don't ignore it, but also utilize that energy and convert it into something amazingly positive, right? So you can, instead of just trying to dissipate that energy, transform that energy, transform it into something useful, something that you need, something that will benefit you in your life. If you need to lose weight, use that energy to lose weight. Be like, okay, I need to be super fit, so so that I don't let these things, so that if I ever get sick, nothing's going to happen to me. If you smoke, this is the perfect time. If you're worried and you smoke, then use that worry to quit smoking, right? Because all big changes in our life come from pain. And if this is painful, use that pain to make the right change. And then you will gain some benefit from this. All right. So number 4, naturally create the right chemical balance. So what do I mean by this? First of all, when we are stressed, what happens is our cortisol levels go up. This is like our stress hormone. And so there are things that we can do that will reduce your cortisol levels. It will reduce our stress hormones, reduce and increase our happy hormones. And there's no pills, no chemicals, nothing. You can just do a couple of natural exercises that will do that. So what can you do? First of all, change your physiology. Now, there's a number of studies on this. Amy Cuddy did a couple of TED Talks. I talk about this on my YouTube channel. However, when we are in a peak state, when we are at our best, at our most optimum, our head is up, our shoulders are back, and we are breathing deeply, we're moving quickly. And yet when we're down, when we're sad, when we're depressed, when we're anxious, when we're stressed, our body gets closed up, our head goes down, and our breathing gets shallow, and our movements become slow. And here's the crazy thing. Emotions can create our physiology. But here's the secret. Our physiology can create our emotions. Let me repeat that. Our physiology can create our emotions. That means if we start standing tall, shoulders back, etc., and smiling, it will create the emotions. It will reduce our cortisol levels and increase our happy hormones, increase our confidence levels. I did on my YouTube channel. I volunteered recently for the the Special Olympics that took place in Abu Dhabi, and you had about 70 people 70 countries 170 countries that flew in from all over the world and that took part, and all of them had different challenges. Some people had Down syndrome, some people had all sorts of things. They were different ages, loads of different religions, different languages, different beliefs, loads of different, all sorts of different challenges that they had as well, because this is the Special Olympics. And I volunteered and I was at the award ceremony. And here's the crazy thing. Every single country, every single person, it didn't matter their age, it didn't matter their religion, it didn't matter their beliefs, it didn't matter their political views, it didn't matter what challenge they had in terms of whether they had Down syndrome or whether they were autistic or whether like all sorts. It doesn't matter. Every single one of them celebrated exactly the same. Every single one. Every single one, when they were happy, were like, yes, yes, yes. And if our physiology can create emotions, we can learn from that. We can learn from that. And so if you get a chance, please do check out my on my YouTube channel, youtube.com/Munir. Do subscribe if you get a chance. And on there, there's that video. Just look for celebrating with the special, and you can see that. You can see it for yourself. So anyhow, so that's the physiology. However, also there's laughter yoga. Laughter yoga is another technique that you can use that will increase your happy hormones, reduce your stress levels, reduce your cortisol levels, and like help you take away, help eliminate depression, among other things. So this is very, very, very powerful. So I highly recommend looking into something like laughter yoga as well, because that is designed to basically, you fake it till you make it. And when you practice an activity of laughter very frequently, somehow it makes you happier. So laughter yoga is another one that will help you to reduce your stress levels. Another one is using something called the swish technique in NLP, which just creates an unconscious association that will move you from bad to good. So I'll give you a very quick overview of how this works in case it's something that you want to try. However, this is how our mind works. So sometimes you want to create an association. You want to quickly replace something. Our mind learns very quickly. So think of when you were young, you put your hand on a hot stove, you touched it, go. Your mind learned very quickly to associate, okay, this is hot, I shouldn't do that again. However, it replaces the thought of, hey, okay, I need to put my hand on here. Our mind works very quickly, and learns very quickly. So in NLP, there's something called a swish technique. And what it consists of is you creating in your mind the image of the thing that you don't want. So if it's like stress and anxiety, you create an image of yourself stressed, and you put it into like a frame. And in the corner of the frame, you have a picture of the person that you want to be instead. And you practice this thing where you say like 1, 2, 3, swish, and you allow that picture, the small picture, to replace the old one in an instant. And what happens is at an unconscious level, our mind associates, okay, when you're this, do this instead. When you're this, do this instead. So you sit there and you go, okay, make a picture of me being stressed. I don't want to do that. And instead, in the corner, you have a little picture of the person that you want to be. And you go 1, 2, 3, and you let it expand. And then okay, all right, take a moment, break it off. Close your eyes, repeat. Close your eyes, repeat. Close your eyes, repeat. And when you do it multiple times, what happens is your mind creates an unconscious association to replace stress with what you'd like to be instead. Okay, so the swish technique is very, very powerful. I highly recommend looking into it more. It's one of the most famous NLP patterns, techniques that you can do. Another one is another thing that you can do is model successful strategies and see what works for you. So there are lots of people that are doing. If you find someone that is achieving amazing results, and then try it out to see what they're doing in order, and test things out on yourself. So I'll give you an example. First of all, breathing exercises are very powerful when it comes to overcoming stress and anxiety. And I was like, okay, I always knew breathing exercises, but I went and I heard of this guy called Wim Hof, and I was like, oh my God, this guy, the Iceman, and he's broken loads of world records. He's allowed people to overcome all sorts of things. So I was like, okay, I got to learn his breathing technique. So I started doing his breathing technique versus just your normal breathing technique. And so when you model different strategies, you find something that works for you. I've tried a whole bunch of things. This is one of them that I've tried and works for me. But there's multiple. You'll always hear different stories. But if you see people, like a bunch of people getting results, model it, try it, test different things out. Everyone's has a little bit of a difference, and you might have a preference. Some people can't just sit there and meditate, and that's fine. So you want to try something else, but you want to try a multitude of different activities and see which one works for you. Today, I've given you a number that you can try out and see which ones work for you personally. And as Gina says, yes, completely. Success leaves clues, completely. And this is, it's a quote from Tony Robbins. Success leaves clues. You want to model people that are getting results. Now, when I first started like doing a number of these stress techniques, I didn't try the Wim Hof technique. But I have a habit of modeling. Success leaves clues, as Gina says. You find people that are getting results. I always look for people that are getting lots of results, and then I will, okay, you know what? Let me try that. Let me try it on and see it for myself. Let me try this on and see it for myself. And then you'll like, if you have a habit of doing this, you'll find something that works for you. Today, I've given you a number of different techniques that you can try and see which ones work for you. Another one that and this is a smaller one, but I think is still very, very, very powerful, and create fulfillment through contribution. And another Tony quote, Gina, is the secret to living is giving. And at this time, because so many people are more challenged than ever before, if you can help people out, and it can be as simple as saying to someone, you know, look, we may be socially distanced. I may be socially distanced from you, but I want you to know that you're not alone. I want you to know that we're thinking of you. I want you to know that, you know, you may be going through a hard time, but if you ever need anything, I got your back. I'm there for you. Like, just reach out to someone and say something along those lines. And just notice that it will make someone feel really good. And anytime you make somebody feel good, guess what happens? Go on, guess. Go on, guess. Yes, that's right. You will feel good too. And so, you know, having an attitude of finding different ways to help others, and it doesn't need to be complicated. It's just sending a message like this is one way, but there are loads of different ways. For those of you that may be tuning in to the first time for my channel, I go live every single day because this is kind of my way of finding a way to contribute, right? And but it makes, when you find a way to contribute, even in the slightest way, it'll make you feel good and reduces a little bit of that stress and anxiety, because it creates a little something to distract you with. All right. Hey, Michelle, great to see you. Thank you very much for tuning in. Great listening. Best wishes from Spain. I appreciate you. Thanks for tuning in. Hope you're enjoying it. All right, cool. So now, if any of you guys are interested in the 7 steps to lasting change, I'm doing a webinar, and you are welcome to join me on Wednesday, in a couple of days. On Wednesday, 7 p.m. UAE time, I'm doing a webinar. If that's something that you're interested in, you want to, if helping people is something that you're interested in, definitely come and check it out, uaenlp.com. and I talk about the 7 steps to lasting change. However, hopefully you've enjoyed today. We've talked about a number of techniques that will help you to overcome stress and anxiety. So just a quick recap: adjust your intake of what you're putting into your mind. Ask powerful questions, especially before you go to bed. The second one is address the issue. Like, put in like 15. If stress is really bad, put in a little 15 minutes to go, okay, if I want to be stressed, let me be stressed now, and I go really stressed for 15 minutes, and then let it all go. Or 3, transform the energy. You transform it into something positive. Number 4, we talked about naturally creating the right chemical balance, from power posing so that you create the chemical balance, or laughter yoga, these are natural ways that will get you to reduce the cortisol levels in your body, increase your happy hormones. And 5, we talked about the creating an unconscious replacement using an NLP technique called the swish pattern. And we talked about modeling strategies, number 6, which is finding people that are doing different techniques. Like, it doesn't have to be any of these you can find, but if find something, test it out. If a lot of people are getting results, then maybe there's something there, and test it out and see what works for yourself. And then 7, find some fulfillment through contribution. So thank you so much, Gina. I really appreciate you saying it's been great as ever. I truly appreciate seeing you coming on these calls, and it's always such a pleasure to see you, Gina. And my daughter Sarah is blowing me a kiss apparently. So thanks, Sarah. Hope you're well. I guess I'm going to see you in a few minutes, Sarah. I'm going to come downstairs. Other than that, thank you guys for tuning in. If you have not, please do subscribe to my channel. I go live every single day, and I speak on things that will help you master your mind, master communication and influence, as well as your own performance. So I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for tuning in. This is for World Wellness Week, and I will catch you on another video very, very soon. Thank you so much for tuning in. Peace out, one love, and I will catch you guys soon. Bye for now.